Introducing our keynote speaker, Sabrina Stratford.
Most organizations are concerned with social responsibility, and we ask ourselves, how can we do better? How can we up our social responsibility game and become a better team? And the answer is, we make ourselves aware, we educate ourselves, and we take action.
From Global Business Development Manager to Subject Matter Expert on Human Trafficking.
I worked at the Anchorage Emergency Women's Shelter, where I became manager for Sweet Hope, transitional housing for survivors. The Alaska Department of Safety brought me on to the sex offender criminal kidnapper registry team, where I got to work with law enforcement and criminal agencies to locate non-compliant offenders.
Thank you, Governor. I'm James Cockrell, Commissioner of the Department of Public Safety.
Human trafficking is everywhere in all 50 states. We're all affected, and we can all empower ourselves in the fight. What is human trafficking? Well, we define it as moving someone into slavery. It's the inability to refuse work. Another definition I've come to understand since I decided to devote my time to the fight, human trafficking is the exploitation of vulnerability. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, only second to the drug trade. So we see trafficked people on the streets, working the corners, but most of the time, human trafficking is hidden and no one really knows just how prevalent the crime is. But according to the Global Slavery Index, there are 45 million slaves in the world today, more than any other time in history. The fact that there is a demand, a supply is created. And because of this demand, over 400,000 children go missing every year. A trafficker sees a child as a piece of merchandise that they can sell 12 times a day for an average of 8 years. Every year, hundreds of thousands of children are recruited from and transported to and through the USA for trafficking. Most people think of child trafficking as children bound and beaten and hidden in bunkers in third world countries. And while that is a reality for many children around the world, many people don't realize that child trafficking is rampant in the USA and that the victims and perpetrators might be right in front of you. Trafficked kids are often kept in your typical American home and even attend school, but their life is anything but typical. Who is a vulnerable target? Think about vulnerabilities, runaways, abusive homes, foster care kids, people in poverty, and labor trafficking. That can happen in construction, hotels, massage parlors, housekeepers. These are areas that in the corporate world, we bump up against in our daily lives, especially if we travel for work. And that's where our social responsibility kicks in. Hotel workers, restaurants, airports. These are places where we need to stay aware. But one of the most agonizing things about human trafficking is that they come right into our homes to take our children, and we allow them in. Did you know 1 in 20 children report unwanted online sexual solicitation? 1 in 12 kids have exchanged sexual messages with strangers. 1 in 5 children will be approached by an online predator, and only 25% of these kids told their parents. I hope I get to talk to you and your organizations more about what we can do to keep our families safe and how we can be more socially responsible. There are some details that we just don't have time to cover here that everyone needs to know. We have to actively pursue knowledge and never quit learning. It's the fastest growing industry in the world, so methods will evolve. There are simple red flags that we can learn about and watch out for to make a real difference. And if your organization wants to take a deeper dive, you can do a couple of things. I've launched a YouTube channel to tell true stories of human trafficking. The more we know about real life victims and survivors, the better prepared we'll be to fight. You can search my name, Sabrina Stratford, or at Sabrina Loves Justice. And if your organization would like to explore corporate responsibility, head over to my website, sabrinastratford.com, and there's a forum. Modern slavery will rage on if we don't all fight together at a local and individual level and corporately. If you want to get the truest understanding that you can of the issue, imagine it happening to the person you love the most. The inhumanity of the abuse, the violent and destructive nature of the crime, and the sheer volume of the problem leads us to believe that human trafficking is one of the greatest injustices of our generation. But we will fight together. Thank you for your time and attention.